Hey, welcome to this video. This is going to be a build out video that we're going to go into GoHighLevel and build out an actual nurture sequence. We call it a warm-up sequence. And this is something where whenever you have a new lead, you want to warm them up as to who you are and how you can help them in your business. So we're not going to be writing any copy in this video, but we're just going to show you the technical structures and what I feel is the best way to build this out. Now, a little disclaimer here is many people build campaigns different ways. I'm not going to say this is the be-all, end-all best way, but this is the way that works really well. And if you stick through the video, you'll see the reasoning why I do each thing the way I do. So let's hop right in it and we'll start building this out. So just going to move this stuff out of the way. So the first thing I like to do is actually build the emails that are going to be in the sequence. So how we do that is we go into marketing and we go to emails. And what you'll see as I go through this and I go and build templates is I like to organize things in folders where you can within GoHighLevel. So we're going to create a folder for that actual sequence. So we're going to call this warm up nurture. You can call it warm up sequence or whatever. You can even rename it later down the road, but we're going to call it warm up nurture and we're going to keep that. Now I like to take that and put that in my clipboard just because I'm going to use that in the template names. Makes it a little easier. So we're going to create that folder. We're going to go into it. And now I'm going to go in here and use the design editor. And like I said, we're not going to write the copy. We're just going to make some placeholders in here for this. First step at the top, we're going to go warm up sequence. I like the vertical line versus the horizontal dash. And we're going to say email 1. And then we'll leave that as it is. Now, the other thing you can do, if you're not aware of this, if you click these three dots on the right-hand side and go to settings, you can actually go ahead and put in the subject lines and all that kind of stuff for the emails. But you can also do that in the workflow, so you don't have to do it at this point. When I'm building it, I like to put them in here because it pulls it across when you go ahead and do that. So we're going to save that as that template. It's just going to be like that for now. Now we're going to come back. And what I also like to do, instead of going new, is I always just go in and clone that email. So we're going to go in here, I'm going to say 2, and then you'll go in and you'll obviously change the copy and do all that fun stuff. But for the sake of the video and time, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to do a 3 email sequence in this. You can obviously do more than that if you want, whatever you choose, but 3 will give us a good amount of time and structure here to work with the different elements. All right, so now we have those templates built in the email template library in the proper folder. Now we're going to go over and we're going to go to the automation side and we're going to make a workflow. As you can see here, I've already foldered a bunch of different sections for the CRM, and now I'm building out an actual snapshot here for selling to professional speakers. So that's why we're building this out together. So we're going to go into nurtures, and then in here, again, what we'll do is we'll make a folder for that. So we're going to say warm up nurture. And if you want to get detailed, you could say warm up nurture 3 emails or 4 emails or whatever that length is. So we're going to create that workflow, and we always like to do starting from scratch. And we're going to name it again, paste that in there, vertical line, keep it consistent. We'll just do warm up nurture active. Okay, we'll save that right now. Now, to begin, we don't know what the trigger is going to be. It could be an opportunity pipeline move. It could be a tag. It could be a custom field change. But for this sake, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep it straight and simple. So what the first thing that we want to do is we want to have, when anybody comes in here, is we want to have a tag applied. And now you can either have a tag for this specific sequence, but what I like to do, because in marketing and automation, one of the things that happens a lot is when you get a lot of different sequences and workflows and nurtures going, is people end up in multiples at the same time. And it's really a disjointed experience. You don't really want to have that. So I make a global tag that says active in sequence or active in nurture, I think is what we want to say. Active in nurture. So we want to have that happen right away. Okay. Now, what we're also going to have here is we're going to have one that says warm up. Actually, no, we won't at this point. We'll just leave that one as is. And you'll see in a minute why we'll do that. Okay. So now we're just going to go in a straight line. We're going to actually have an if statement in here. And the reason for this is if somebody gets put in the sequence and they're already active in the sequence or anything like that, or they're in another sequence and they get put in here, we want to have that tag show up and say, no, sorry, you can't enter, just like a gatekeeper. So if you have, let's say, an indoctrination sequence or another nurture that's happening or a sales nurture that's happening, and they have that active in sequence tag and they get dropped into this warm-up, it's not going to move them forward. So what we want to say here is, and you can call this branch whatever you want, proceed with nurture. And the only way they're going to proceed in this is if we go here and we say tag does not include active in nurture. All right. So we want to have that. All right. So the none branch would be if they had it, they're just going to go over here and nothing's going to happen. So now we're going to build out this sequence. Now you can do it in any cadence you want. So what we like to do is right away when we put it in there, I like to put a little delay timer in there, just because maybe you're going to actively drop them in and you're like, oh no, they're not supposed to be in there. You want to give time for them to actually get pulled out. Then we're going to say here, we're going to say wait 5 minutes. Just gives you a 5-minute buffer to kind of catch your mistake that happens. Now, if you don't want things to go on the weekends, this is where you can open up this advanced window and say, okay, Monday through Friday, and then they're not going to follow it on the weekends, and they go from 9 to 5. So we're going to leave that on there for now. Now, here's the other thing that happens is a lot of time you build these nurtures and you go through your database and you find, a couple hundred, a couple thousand contacts. You're like, I want to start to nurture them, and you drop them in. The problem with that is every time it hits one of these delay windows, it actually hits your email server with, said 100, 500, 1,000 contacts at a time, and you don't want that to happen. So there's a feature in GoHighLevel called drip in here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to always put the drip after the time delay. And we can pick the batch here. I tend to do 25 every 5 minutes. Okay. And what I do in here is I go 25 5 mins in the labeling, because the more you can label the stuff, the easier it is to see what's happening. So we can look at this campaign and be like, okay, it's a drip here every 25 every 5 minutes, and you start to learn that. So we're going to go in here and then we're going to put in our email. So I'll pull this up, and because we made the templates, it's going to be easy to just go nurture email 1, save. And now we can go ahead and copy this down. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to copy all actions from here. It just makes it easier. We're going to hit the paste. And now we can say what's the cadence. So we're going to wait now 2 days. Now you can either do days or you can do 24, 48 hours. In here if you want. If you have these windows in place, that works really well. So we're going to make sure we update this, wait 2 days. And the same drip will work. And in here, we're going to go and do email 2. Now, one thing that I didn't put in here was the warm-up nurture. So we're going to go here, email 2. Oh, missed it. Email 2. And that's going to label that there. 1. And we're going to paste in the last one here. And maybe we're going to wait 4 days. Wait 4 days. And email 3. And we'll pick the email 3 from the list. And we'll go from here. Now, once you're done that nurture, there's a couple things that a lot of people don't do at the end. So the thing you want to do is you want to remove that active in nurture tag that's in here. So maybe you don't want to do it right away. So what we tend to do is say, okay, let's wait at least 24 hours, right? So we'll wait 24 hours. And then they're going to have the actions of removing the tag. So remove active in nurture. Like that. Now here's the other step. You want to have, especially if this is a one and done type of nurture, you don't want people to go through it multiple times. You want to add a contact tag that says warm up nurture completed. So that's at the end. And then we're going to remove from workflow. Now, with the tags in here, what we can also do is go in here and say remove or add tag. Completed, just so the labeling shows it here. And I'm going to remove tag active in nurture. Now, once those are in there, we know that they're adding that completed tag. We're going to go back to the top up here. And in the conditions, we don't want them to proceed if they had this tag or go in here. We're going to pick tag does not include completed. Let's bring that up. And warm up nurture completed. So now what's going to happen is when we save this, if anybody gets put in here that's either active in another nurture because they had that global tag, it's not going to put them in here. It's going to say done or none, and it's going to go over here. If they've already completed it and they come to this point and they get put in a second time, same thing. It's going to be none. It's going to put them over here. So what you want to do here is you want to remove that from that workflow, the current workflow that's there, and then that's going to complete that nurture. So all we do now is we would save that. And then once you decide how you're going to trigger it, you can do that. Or you can leave no trigger here and manually drop them in with one of the workflow stages of putting them in another nurture when they do something else, right? So it's completely up to you how you build those things out. So let me know if you have any questions about what you saw here in this video. Put it in the comments below the video and I'd be happy to answer those for you. And if you found this helpful and valuable, please subscribe to the channel and we'll have more videos like this coming your way.